I don't think that's going to be enough time, Matt.
I know we'll just be getting warmed up by 9 o'clock.
Yeah. You'll be having to stoke that fire back there a lot.
Well, luckily I've laid in some firewood for the season, so.
Oh, just so you know, that may become really important to me because we realized we needed firewood for Friday. We thought we had some. I've got some order that's supposed to be delivered tomorrow, but if it doesn't show up, you may be getting a call from me because we need firewood. And yeah.
Well, right now, no one's watching us, but right now you're putting out the call for firewood.
Yeah. I was wondering about putting that out on Facebook, but supposedly I'm supposed to have some delivered tomorrow. We'll see how that all goes. So.
All right. Well, if you need any help with that, I've got a pickup truck, and I get my firewood off the guy out on B Drive South.
Okay.
It's kind of across from the hardware store out there, but he always has it's the honor system, and put $60 in a box, and you can take a truckload of boiler wood.
Okay.
Put $20 in a box, and if he has it, you can get his campfire wood. And it's
all right.
Good size. So it's great.
Once again, I may be talking to you about that because when we did the test fire this last week, it went really well. My friend who we did it out at their house, they live in a forest, so they had all this wood, and then we burned it, and then we're going, well, do you have enough wood for next week? He's going, you want more wood? And we're going like, well, yeah, we need it for the fire next week. And so, yeah, they may be taking you up on it. So
it's official. We're live. Okay. We have our first viewer saying hi. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Claire.
How's Idaho Falls? And we got another people. So yeah, this is Michael McCullough. I'm with Willard Library. You can call me Mac. Everybody else does. So does this guy, Kurt Thornton, who's my guest this evening. Kurt, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
I got this long bio I have to read. Kurt sent me like 2 pages, but no, he's an author. He's an illustrator. He's an artist. He's a Battle Creek Central grad, 1973. So he's old.
73, the way to be. Yes.
And he's retired. Congratulations on that.
That's been really pretty nice. I've been enjoying that an awful lot.
So,
did you get my message today? I sent you the picture of the weather vane I put up on my house.
I did.
See, I'm always trying to see where I was trying to do something in that weather vane. Dad and I went down there, and Dad hacksawed that off of a gas station downtown in 1969, and it's finally come a full circle, and it's back to my house.
That's awesome. Someday I will have to come over for a tour.
Oh yeah,
of the house. I moved here in 1998. And somehow I avoided ever having a conversation with Kurt until the last year, and now I can't get rid of him. I mean, he's everywhere.
I just keep sending Mac more stuff. It's like, oh my God. It's like,
yes, and every time we have an online program, photos right up until the last minute. And,
absolutely.
I like we'll share a few photos, but yeah, we have a lot of stuff to talk about in the next half hour, and this will probably be our last broadcast outside because it's getting dark, folks, and I'll just be this kind of like illuminated face of this ink. It
would be like the Wizard of Oz. You can just be just floating in the air. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So, Kurt is like your history royalty in Battle Creek, right? And and I read
Mom. That's only because of Mom.
Well, yes, and I you often are quoted that you get your love of history comes from your mom, who you say taught you that it's okay to love Battle Creek.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to start off by asking, why do we have to be told that it's okay to love Battle Creek?
Well, see, I wouldn't be the one to ask because I've always loved Battle Creek, so that I'm not really good at that one. But lots of people don't. They ask to have a negative spin on things that go on here, and I mean, every town has its good and bad things. Every town.
Yeah.
It's like, and so lots of people here seem to focus on the not so good things, and it's been that way actually my whole life, since way back when I was in high school. I remember kids my age were going like, well, what's wrong with Battle Creek? Well, the reason it was having problems is because of the old people that were running it, which those old people that were in their 50s and 60s.
They were so all relative, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. But it's they also, they just didn't seem to realize what was going on and what needed to be going on. So because I was one of those people that I loved the downtown mall, and oh my god, that people go nuts over that because the downtown mall destroyed Battle Creek. And I really liked it. I thought it was really cool, and I thought they took it out just about the time it was getting really cool because the trees were fully grown and the foliage was looking really nice. And then they decided to cut all the trees down and tear all the street out and open it up again. And then, wow, I thought it was really sort of pretty. But
yeah, I actually saw a picture of you in high school. I think in a car,
okay.
in favor of the mall. I think.
Oh yeah, yes, that's right. We were taking signs down to put I can't remember, Michigan Mall, good for us all.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I can't remember anything important, Mac, but I can remember that kind of stuff. That's kind of,
So I'm going to put up we have some photos. Yes, did I mention we have photos? But I'm sort of a newbie, Kurt, as you know. And tell me about your parents. Tell me about your mom. Tell me about your dad. Tell me about your family.
Sure. Well, I'll start with this picture. Is my sisters Kathy and Diane, and my dad Junior, which Junior caused me so much trouble in school because nobody believed my dad's real name was Junior. So I always had to bring notes from home because what happened is when Dad was born, he was supposed to be Burdette Junior, and they put it wrong on the birth certificate, so he was Junior Burdette. So that's what he ended up with the rest of his life was Junior. But anyhow, Mom always wanted us to be involved in Battle Creek history. Not so much that she wanted us to be the history, but she wanted us to be involved. So this is we were down at the Post Tavern in 1960, I believe this was, right as they were getting ready to tear down the original Post Tavern building. Mom wanted us to go down and see it. Plus, trying to get Dad to go someplace and do something, she had to make it a family activity because Dad was not really into the history stuff. He would go along, but yeah, he would grudgingly. But mom was a foster child. She was born in Ann Arbor, but she was raised here in Battle Creek. And her foster family was older. They were probably in their 60s and 70s, well, 50s and 60s when they adopted Mom or had her come in as to live with them. So Mom would always tell about when she was growing up, she'd hear stories from the family, and some of these people were alive during the Civil War, and they would tell stories about Battle Creek during the Civil War and shortly afterwards. And so Mom was steeped in history. Of course, Mom told me this, which is true. She said, "It's too bad I didn't write down those things because I knew I'd always remember those stories. I heard them so many times, I'll never forget those stories." And then later on, she'd go, "Damn it, I wish I could remember who they were talking about and where they were talking about." But of course, I've learned so much from that, and I always write things down and never forget anything. I don't remember anything. I don't remember lots of these stories and stuff, but yeah, that's down at the Post Tavern. Dad worked at the post office. He loved his job there. When he retired, he went to work at Kmart. He loved it because he said he didn't have to be there. He didn't have to do this job. So he loved selling stuff to people. He had a great time there. But this is Dad and I. Dad's holding my hand there on the right, and we're going down to look at the Post Tavern. This is on McCamley Street. They're tearing down the Post Tavern on the far left there. Yeah, it was. And see, I remember the bridge, but I don't remember it really well. The only thing I remember is I got a neighbor hit me in the head with a rake when I was like 4 or 5, and they had to take me to the hospital. And I remember laying on the floor of the car and going underneath the bridge. That's my only recollection of that bridge was laying on the floor. But
well, that's quite a memory.
I won't tell you how many more times I was laying on the floor when I went went through downtown Battle Creek, but we won't. That's a whole other story.
It's a whole other story.
Other story.
This is a family program.
That's right. Okay. This is me when they were building the Cement River, which was the Kalamazoo River Diversion Project, but I always call it the Cement River. So we were down. Once again, Mom would take us down there because she wanted us to see history being made, and once again, she talked Dad to going down because he got to look at the steam tractor, I think, there. So
yeah.
But my sisters, I said they were trying to get them to open the dam when I was in the river because they thought that would be a way to get rid of me, but it didn't work.
The Cement River.
Yep, the Cement River, just like on Beverly Hills, it's the Cement Pond. And this is underneath, okay, I'm supposed to know the name of that street. It's, Fountain Street. I think that would be, yeah, I think that's Fountain Street.
Fountain Street, okay, yeah.
Over on the left is Jefferson School. which was being torn down at that time when they built the cement river through town.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dad and I are walking down, looking at where the river was and where they were going to be putting it through.
Huh.
See, I keep thinking with the cement river, and I'm going to go off the subject because I never go off subject. Anyhow, you have that river running all the time through downtown Battle Creek. It's always going through. Why aren't we harnessing the river's power to generate electricity? I mean, it's always running through downtown. And someone said, well, it wouldn't generate that much power. But I said, well, maybe it put Battle Creek on a map of like, our river is powering our downtown streetlights or something like that. It would be sort of a cool thing. But
well, now we're hearing plans rumbling about getting rid of the cement river and having a livery, and which is also kind of exciting.
I think it'd be cool, but I can't quite understand how they can make the river usable for people in canoes or boating or even going along the river when the river has to go through swiftly through downtown. I mean, it cruises through there, and that's part of the flood control. Is it shoots the water through downtown and out the other side, so it is really cruising. So I can't figure out how they're going to put that in there for people to use publicly. I've had friends who went down the cement river in a canoe for a short period of time because they said it usually goes out of control and spins around and dumps them. And the people I've known that have done that luckily had life preservers on, and so they made it out the other end. But they said you can't grab onto anything because the river bottom is slimy. So even if you touch the side, you're just sliding right along, and mostly you're trying to avoid getting hit by metal things sticking out of the ground. But
well, I mean, it does. You talk about Battle Creek history, and we talk about it all the time now. But it's such an asset to have two rivers, and I mean that's why we're here. that's why we're talking about Battle Creek, and now to have the river sort of just channeled by for a worthy cause, preventing flooding. But maybe there are other engineering solutions, right?
Yeah, because back in 1968, I went to a talk down at it was the gas company at the time. They had this gentleman coming in who was trying to promote the Michigan Mall. They were trying to get the mall going in, but we were having a community meeting, and he started out the meeting by saying, do you people realize you have these rivers running right through your downtown and you're covering them up and you put buildings on them and you put parking structures over them? They go, you should be uncovering those. Those are wonderful assets. Any downtown to have a river run right through the downtown. And I remember hearing that thinking like, well, that makes a lot of sense. It's like, that's where it's nice to have somebody from outside come in every now and then, and they can give you a new view of what we're doing here. That's always refreshing to have. So
it kind of gets back to the conversation about loving Battle Creek. I mean, it's sometimes you take things for granted that are all around you. It really is a beautiful city. I mean,
oh my God, yeah.
Battle Creek is a beautiful city, and and what they've done with the Battle Creek River and the linear park, that is just gorgeous. But so I just want to ask you, what do you love about Battle Creek? You say you love Battle Creek. What are the things that you love?
Well, see, then there's the trouble. I've got to tie it into its history. I love its history because I know the history so well. But like you said, it's beautiful because I'm a historian, people often come to me and go, oh, can you believe they tore down this building or they tore down that building? And you're going, well, yeah, I'm upset about that. But part of progress is you have to tear something down. If not, we'd all still be living in log cabins here, and that wouldn't work. So, but I said, that's where if you're really passionate about wanting to save some of these buildings and they're gone, find a building that you like or find something you like and let people know you want it saved. Because sometimes that's all it takes is the city fathers, and they're not always responsible for tearing things down, quite often, but still they don't realize people are interested. They think it's just some old building, and it's they have to pay to maintain it and stuff. And so that's why I keep telling people, let them know you care about history. Let them know you're interested in saving a certain building. Let them know you want to see something featured in downtown or the wider community. Try to get involved and let people know that there are great things. And like I said, the thing with tearing things down, people go, well, they tore all these buildings down, but look at some of the parks they put in. I think downtown is beautiful right now. The things they've done with parks and greenery, and it's so livable and nice. And hopefully with the Milton and the Battle Creek Tower, and I guess the Newmans, Cody Newman and his wife, who redid the record box.
Record box, right?
They're now working on the Anson Hotel, which is on the corner next to their building, because I guess they've sold their building and got the Anson Hotel and want to make that into, I believe, apartment building, I think, or condo. Yeah. But we're going, that's what we need, is people to be living downtown, make it more of a place where people can be and live and shop and go see things. I'm hoping that really is really successful.
Yeah.
But I'm not leaving my house. I love my house. So.
Yeah. Is that the house you grew up in?
No.
Okay.
I've been here 31 years. No, this is definitely not the house I grew up in. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you never know.
Yeah, the house I grew up in got torn down, and then Mom and Dad moved to this house on East Avenue that I never liked, and I lived there for a month, and I believe they were glad I moved out, and I was glad I moved out. I was getting old and partying too much, and then I didn't ditch. It just wasn't good. But that would go into my laying down in the car driving through Battle Creek stories. We don't want to talk about those. So.
Yeah. But it is a beautiful home and a beautiful neighborhood in the old part of Battle Creek, and I love going back in history and finding out there are farms there. I mean,
yep.
It's really interesting to see the evolution of the city. I guess it's not all that surprising. All cities started out as a village at some point, right?
But, and like in our last history when we talked about industries in Battle Creek, and people are going, oh, they had amazing starts, and now they're not here anymore. And they're going, well, yeah. This is progressions of cities, and that's why we have to see where we want to go and what we want Battle Creek to be. Now it's because it is changing, and if you want to make this a livable and good city, try to get involved. Which I know I say that all the time, but try to get involved even in minor ways, even writing notes to your city fathers and mothers and letting them know what you think about some things, and try to get some things going on here in Battle Creek, because. I know it is a really cool town. Let's hope we can keep progressing and making it a better place.
Yeah, and I think we are. So I'm going to add, everybody who knows you, which is like everybody who's commenting on this on the stream right now, they know you're an amazing artist and illustrator, and so I just wanted to share a little bit of that. But what I didn't know, although I should have known if I read my own paper, because when I look back on it, you say it in other times, but back when I worked at the Inquirer, you're colorblind.
Yep.
But that doesn't detract from your skills. And
just as long as I don't do anything in color, Mac, that's the advantage of doing everything in black and white. Is I really can't screw it up too badly. From what I understand, if I paint people, I understand I paint them orange. To me, they look normal, but I guess if real people, they look and they go, "Why'd you paint me orange?" I mean, well.
I know a certain orange person that notice.
Who knows what I paint them looking like? It's hard to tell. Yeah.
So this is just a little collage, right?
Yeah, I did this this Battle Creek montage. Mostly, I was interested because I wanted to combine the Grand Trunk Station, which is now who's located there now?
CA.
Thank you. And then the old New York Central Station where Clara's is, and then the intermodal station. So I like merging them all together. They're sort of across the top of the picture there. I tried to put them all together. But these are all Battle Creek things. The grain thing up in the top left corner is the windows at the Kellogg World Headquarters. The eagle on the top right is from the Milton building. I've got my church there on the bottom right, the First Methodist Church, and the Kellogg House, and the post office downtown, which is now Commerce Point. Yep. That is such a beautiful building.
It really is.
One of the things I've tried to push for years, but for some reason I don't have lots of money, so I can't really do a lot with it. I'd like to see that become the Civic Arts Center and the Civic Center for Battle Creek. It's such a great location. I'll have to send you my drawings of this, Matt, because that's one of the things I haven't seen, where there's a parking lot between Commerce Point and the Kellogg Foundation. And I thought they could put a small auditorium there, so you could have the Civic Theater there and have the Art Center all located in one building all together, right at the entrance of downtown Battle Creek. I thought that would be a great location.
It would be cool.
But all it takes is money.
That's all.
That's all it takes.
And so you got your love of history from your mom,
Yep.
but I read that it was your father from whom you inherited your artistic ability.
His dad was really a really good artist. His trouble was is that he decided to have a family, and so then he had to go to work as opposed to being an artist. Even though I worked and was an artist, but I did I did my stuff on the side. People always going, "Why don't you try to make a living doing this?" And I'm going, because it's really hard, and I like food, needless to say, and I like having things. So I decided I wanted money as opposed to be a struggling artist, which is really nice. And but no, didn't want to do that. So, but Dad did lots of artwork on the side. He was always making extra money painting signs and doing different stuff for people. But he was really very talented. And I was real lucky to have him help me along with stuff. But
Well, I didn't get to know your father or your mother, really anybody in your family, but every time I see a photo of your father, he has this grin on his face, and I just kind of imagine you may have got that from him too, but just kind of this, I don't know, smart aleck. I don't
he,
know.
he got much more easygoing as he got older. Because when we were younger, I don't remember him smiling quite so much. He was a little bit tougher than that. But so I'll tell you, this picture I did of it's now the Federal Center, but it's supposed to be the sanitarium. I'll let a secret, secret. There's one floor missing in the tower part. I got it all drawn and was looking at it. I counted the floors, and I'm going, oh crap, I missed one of the floors in the tower section. So artistic license, you can do that kind of stuff.
Oh, that might make it more valuable, actually, Kurt.
Yeah, that's the angle I should be going on. I left the floor out so I could make a little bit more off this one, but
So you have why
this design on it, or there were pillars on the front of it, or some of the details. Mary Butler once quoted did a interview, and she mentioned me, and that's one of the things she said is that Kurt brings out architectural details that some people would never ever see,
yeah.
and that it brings attention to them. So these say this is the Grand Trunk Station when it was the Grand Trunk Station. The windows were all boarded up. It's such a beautiful building.
Yeah.
And see, I'll have to give a tribute to my seventh grade art teacher, Miss Smith, which I've never been able to find out her first name because I've tried to contact her ever since seventh grade. Well, ever since I graduated from high school, because I wanted to let her know that she taught me how to draw perspective. She taught me about the vanishing points. You do a dot here and a dot there, and that's how you do perspective. And pretty much every time I do a drawing like one of these, I use the things she taught me. And I just wanted to let her know that one of her students, I'm sure many of her students got something from her class, but she gave me this gift that I was able to use in years later for because I've been able to use the things she taught me to do these drawings. Now the trouble is she only taught art for 1 year in Battle Creek schools. Went away and got married after that, so she's no longer Miss Smith, which was not an easy name to find anyhow.
Yeah.
And I've tried to search for her, and I've never been able to come up with it. People said, "Well, you must have been one of her favorite students," and I said, "No." One of the only things I can remember her ever saying to me was, "Thornton, wipe that asinine smile off your face." So I believe I was doing something wrong, and she would. But by the same token, this drawing, this one of the inside of now the Milton, doing this all this perspective. I used all these things she taught me about vanishing points to make this thing work. And I love this building. This is one of the places I always said in my history stuff that I'd stand in front of the wrecking ball for. Thank God I don't have to do that because I really did not want to stand in front of the wrecking ball to save this building. But
Yeah.
I'm so amazed and so thankful that the Community Foundation, I think the Kellogg Foundation helped to save this building because it's just so beautiful. I mean, yes, they could build one again someday, but the cost of it is just so astronomical. This place is so beautiful, and so I tried to copy that with this picture because around the dome, I'm trying to think, there's 4 or 5 different symbols of banking that I know. There's the beehives up there, which is a symbol of the bees all get their honey and go into the hives. There's squirrels up there. There's some squirrels gather nuts, and so there were all these banking symbols that are in the murals of that building. And I tried to get them, and thank God I didn't have to do this in color. It would have taken me 3 times or 20 times as long, and it would have been orange.
But you're right. Your comment about the drawings, and I think the fact that it's in black and white, it really kind of draws your eye. But back again to this idea of, we take for granted the things that we see every day, and it's like a fresh look. And I
Yeah.
think that's why people enjoy them so much. And we did have a comment from Mary Vasquez, who looks forward to your yearly calendar. I can't imagine anybody that's watching this doesn't know that you do a yearly calendar, but if you don't, you
I
look
do a yearly calendar. Yep,
they're coming.
Yep.
We're getting close.
Well, Mac, don't put the pressure on me. I've still got to do some drawing. So that's one of those things I'm going to be doing after next week.
You got lots of time now. You're retired.
Apparently, yes, that's what they tell me, but I still haven't quite figured that out yet. But this is one of people's favorite pictures I've drawn, and it's of the Irving Park lagoons with people skating on it with Lila Hospital in the background. Now, granted, it was like 35 years ago when I drew this, but I put myself in the foreground. I'm on the far right, turning my head sideways, looking at the other people. I decided to put myself in the picture. But that was about 75 pounds ago or something, so it's been a little while. But and that's that.
I would love to see that come back. I imagine that liability stuff probably prevents cities from having things like that anymore. But what a gorgeous park.
Well, that's what people, I said, why don't they let us do skating in Irving Park anymore? And I said, I imagine the legal problems. All it tends someone fall and hurt themselves, and they sue the city, and because it's ice on a pond, so you don't know if it's going to break or how evenly it's going to freeze. And yeah, when I worked at Lila Hospital, we used to go out after the 3 to 11 shift. We'd get out at 11 o'clock and go across and skate in the park, and I never was any good. The nurses would stand behind me and push me around. I could stand up, so I didn't fall down, but I could barely move forward. So they didn't push me around the pond. But that was lots of fun.
And here's the Central Michigan or New York Central.
Yep. And up now Claris. Yeah, I always loved that building. That was another one. I was so afraid they were going to lose back in the 1970s. Because the city wanted to tear it down. They were just going, it's this eyesore. There was talk about having it be the children's room for Willard Library. They wanted to make the children's room in that building. Huh. But there was logistics of having it in a separate building, and they said it just wouldn't work. At that time, we had the old steam engine over in by the Grand Trunk station. There was a steam engine sitting outside, and we wanted to get them to move that over here in front of the station, but that didn't happen. But thank God, Claris came in and saved the building and renovated it. And it's such a great place to send people and have them go look at it, because the food's great, but even just going to see the building is incredible. They do a great job there. It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, and there's home.
There we go. There's Willard. I was telling Mac that there was a period of time, about a year period, where there was a bunch of people retiring from Willard. They'd have me do a drawing for each one of them. And this was for one of the ladies who worked in their IT department. So that's why on the right-hand side, I tried to put a computer board, one of the memory boards on the side with Willard Library's logo. But I'm so glad they stopped adding more buildings, because it was getting difficult for me to keep adding more buildings to the drawings. And
so that IT person. That was Jane, right?
Yeah, Jane Ratner. Yes,
Jane Ratner, who also did a lot of work in history for the library too.
She was so good. There have been some really excellent people at Willard Library. Jane was one. Marlene Steele was one. I'm trying to think of the lady who was there before her, who was and some of them would get the job and not be crazy about it, but then they'd start learning about Battle Creek history and become avid supporters of our local history. Jane taught a class up at KCC I took on local history, and I'm always learning something new. I'll think I know everything because I'm Mr. History, I know everything. But there's people will teach me something new, and I'll be going I had no idea that some of these things happen. So it's just great that people can help me. Now, I just want to let you know that I have a piece of Willard Library's old entrance, the old marble from the entrance, sitting out my backyard.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Dad went down when they were tearing the building down. They were selling off chunks of marble from the front lobby. And so he got two. He dropped one on the floor of the garage and shattered it. which I got to have that for free. And then if you wait long enough, Mom and Dad passed away, and so I got the other piece too. So it's like I was just waiting for that.
So yeah, the old pictures of the inside of the old library are just gorgeous.
It was a beautiful place. It was really
yeah.
but the new place is much more functional for what the modern
Sure.
times. It changed so much.
Libraries have changed.
Yep. And except library they do such wonderful things down there. I've been hooked on their audiobooks for the last like 10 years because of my job at the county. I was a file clerk, so I could listen to audiobooks while I filed. I got to read so many cool books from the library. I just walked down the aisles and pulled a few out that I thought were interesting and get to listen to them. This drawing I did for Scene Magazine when they did an interview of me back 15, 20 years ago. And I told them I liked Norman Rockwell. I was a Norman Rockwell fan. And the lady who was writing the article said, well, why don't you do your own self-portrait and we'll use that in the article, and why don't you do it like Norman Rockwell? So I did this because in Norman Rockwell's painting of himself, he uses 3 of his favorite artists are in the painting. So on the right-hand side of this picture, you see actually Norman Rockwell's self-portrait up on the top of my drawing board on the right. Michelangelo's underneath him, and then my father's self-portrait is to the right of that. And that was, one of the stories I like to tell about art and going to art school, because I only ever took classes at KCC's art program, and I always liked Norman Rockwell. The first day of art class, so we all sat around in the circle, and the teacher asked us to tell who our favorite artist was. And people are going on naming all these people. I don't know who they are, but they're famous artists. And I know I'm going to say Norman Rockwell. That's going to be mine. And the girl right next to me, they get to her, and she says Norman Rockwell. The class all laughed because he's not an artist. He's an illustrator. And they laughed about that. And so when they got to me, I said Michelangelo. And I said, the lesson I learned from that is I should have said Norman Rockwell. But back then, like I said, I was shy and didn't have any artistic integrity. And I probably still don't have any. But now I would say, no, Norman Rockwell was my favorite artist. It's just funny how and now he is actually being recognized as an artist, which I think is funny because
and you're not shy anymore. Heck, you don't even wear pants to these things.
You weren't supposed to tell anybody, Mac. It's like, it was warm in here. I'm getting some nice breeze here. It's pretty nice.
It's a running joke, folks.
Yes, it is.
And I'm sure you've all heard it already. But so let's keep moving. We're over a half an hour already.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay. And this was a nice little
what's going to
twist on Norman Rockwell.
The Norman Rockwell rip off from his 4 Freedoms. This was supposed to be Freedom from Want was his painting, and I wrote this was called Freedom from Wanting Cereal. So I put all the characters around the table getting a big giant bowl of cereal from Mom and Dad there.
And then every year you do a different Santa?
Yeah, I've been doing different Santas. I think it's about 8 or 10 years I've been doing a different Santa each year, and they make them in the cards and they sell them up at the art center. This was 2 or 3 years ago. I really liked this Santa. Oddly enough, I got his picture from a Duracell battery ad from like 20 years ago. And I thought it was such a great picture of him. So I did a drawing of this. But
neat.
Yeah.
It is neat. You still believe in Santa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, I want to get presents at Christmas. You don't second guess that one, especially on a program that Santa might be watching.
Marilyn. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, Marilyn.
She's made a couple of Andrew Wyeth, yes.
Yep.
So let's see here. Oh, and a love of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan. I like sci-fi, and so I put this drawing of the Kellogg headquarters with some stormtroopers and Star Wars machines flying around by it. I just thought it was fun. And people go, cereal wars, what's that supposed to mean? I go, it's just supposed to be funny. I wasn't trying to like, they said, well, shouldn't the stormtroopers have posts or something on them? I'm going, no, it's just supposed to be something funny. It's just got to have some fun with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So this is the promotional plug. We've been waiting for it. No, this is a really cool idea. Battle Creek River Fire. Where did you learn about this? And you're the primary advocate for it, right?
Nice tie-in, Mac. That was good. That was smooth. That was really smooth. We'll go into that. But yeah, probably about 20 years ago, I was reading in Smithsonian Magazine about Providence, Rhode Island. They had just had a project to clear their rivers because their rivers ran through downtown, but they had them all covered up. And they had a deal where they tried to uncover their rivers and open them up for the public to use their waterways in the downtown area. And so this artist decided to make these metal braziers, which are big containers that they would put wood in, and he'd put them in the river, and he made like 10 of them, sat them in the river every weekend, put wood in them, lit a fire, and eventually people actually started coming downtown to look at them because people have a innate thing to look at fire, like the one that's right behind you, Matt, because probably nobody's actually listening to us. They're all looking at your fire. It's a cool thing. It's a cool advertisement for my river.
You're on to me.
Yep.
They're looking at my fire. They're not looking at me.
But eventually in Providence, Rhode Island, they ended up doing, there's hundreds of these braziers that are set up through the rivers through downtown. Thousands of people come downtown to Providence on weekends to see the fire, and they call theirs water fire. So I've been trying to get this in Battle Creek for quite a few years. We have the linear park that runs right down next to the Battle Creek River that runs through town. And it's such a great asset for our river in through downtown Battle Creek. Both of them are a wonderful asset for our community. People don't realize how lucky we are to have these rivers that just meander through town, especially the Battle Creek that slowly goes through. And it's beautiful. They've done a beautiful job maintaining it. The park is so nice, the linear park. So I thought, well, what an ideal place to do this river fire project. And so right now, this Friday for Fall into the Arts, we have 2 braziers made. One was made by CSE Morse Brothers, and they did a great job with it. The other one's being made by Kyle Burnett, who's a local metal artist. He just had a sculpture up in Art Prize up in Grand Rapids, and he is really good.
Wow.
He's designed a brazier for us that's actually really artistic looking. So we're going to put those in the river on Friday out in front of the Handmap Brewery, the record box building, which is in the background of this picture. This actually is not a picture of the actual event. This is me photoshopping the picture. So hopefully it'll even look better than this Friday. But we're going to put these braziers out in the river out in front of the record box. And at dusk, we're going to light fires in them and have people come down, take a look at it. And hopefully my goal is to have like 12 or 14 of them in the river, the center of the rivers going through downtown Battle Creek from the Kellogg Foundation all the way down here to the record box building, so people can walk along and look at the fires, sit on the shore and look at the fires. Hopefully food trucks will be coming in downtown so they can go get something to eat or go to one of the restaurants and go back and look at the fires. I'm in Providence. They end up having fire eaters. They have all kinds of stuff that goes on there. I would like to see something like that happen here eventually. And as I was telling Mac before, Jeremy Andrews from Penetrator Events, which promotes different events in Battle Creek, they have been so helpful to me in this because they funded the first one to have it built because it's pricey, but they funded it. And then John Hart from the city, he's helping fund the second one. And we're hoping that if we can get them so people are interested in them, maybe get some kind of people can either sponsor a particular just one brazier or hopefully we'll get someone will come along and sponsor all of them. That would be really great because then I wouldn't have to run this anymore because I was just telling that I am terrible at running these kind of things. I'm not real organized. I'm an artist. I'm not supposed to organize things.
That's right.
It's like, yes. So
you're an ideas person.
Yeah, idea person. Yes, absolutely. So I'm hoping, but I would really like to see that take off. I'd like to see people come down to Battle Creek, and I'd like to see it happen every weekend during the summer would be my eventual goal, that they would do it all summer long. But I'm hoping that if this is successful this Friday, that by next spring, for Spring into the Arts, maybe we can have a few more of them built. And we'll figure out the logistics of how much fun it's going to be to go out in the river and try to light these up. Because as I was telling Mac on Friday night, I'm going to have to be out there with a butane lighter trying to light these things in the middle of the river without falling on my butt. So there will be that possible entertaining aspect of it also. I may hit the water. You may get to see
No
that.
extra charge, folks.
There we go. Artist in the water. Artist in the water. So, but yeah, I really hope this is that part about loving Battle Creek, and because we need to do something
Yeah.
to and to differentiate ourselves, but also just to make people want to come downtown to see. Because like I said, we have a beautiful downtown. That the area behind the Kellogg headquarters, the park between the Kellogg headquarters and Washington Street. I've walked down there and there's not a soul there, and it is incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
There's benches, there's places to sit out and just look at the river go by, and it's just beautiful.
Really
And people
is.
go, "Oh, does the Kellogg Company pay for that?" I said, "No, that's the city park. That's like just a few months ago, one of my coworkers, she had taken a walk down there, and she came back and she goes, 'That is just beautiful. I've never been down there.'" And I'm going like, "Well," I told her, "No one has. That's
Yeah.
the problem. Nobody goes down there and sees that stuff, but it is just beautiful." I'm hoping this kind of event that I'm trying to do, the river fire thing, and hopefully people come up with lots of other ideas. Like Mac was talking about, they're talking about trying to I call it the Cement River, but it's the Kalamazoo River Diversion Project.
Right.
But the Cement River, they're trying to talk about trying to make that more accessible to the community. I'm not sure how they can do that, but once again, there's clever people out there looking at this, trying to come up with ways we can use that water as a positive thing for our community.
Yeah. I understand the Army Corps says it's possible. I mean, they build it, so
Well,
and it just feels like
if it's the government, Mac, it can't be wrong.
that's right.
I'm important, got to be right. It's like,
But it does feel like, I mean, the Milton, all the downtown living options, people are living downtown. It feels like we're closer. I mean, the linear park is just gorgeous in the evening. Um, no reason why it couldn't be a vibrant place well into the night.
yep.
Every night, especially on warm nights like this in mid-October.
Keep that fire going back there. Remember river fire, and just think about that fire.
Real fire.
Yep.
Well, so yes, folks, get downtown this Friday. Get there before dusk so you can watch Kurt wade out to the brazier
And possibly fall in the river.
and possibly fall in. Oh, we hope not. We don't want any bad things to happen.
Thank you. It's like I do know how to swim,
but also enjoy a beverage. I a few times I've been to Handmap, and I love taking a beer out and just sit on the rocks by the river. I mean, it's just. I'm like, where is everybody? Everybody should be doing this.
I know for years they talked about closing Carlisle Street off in front of it, so you could just walk out and not have a street there.
Yeah,
I thought that'd be a really positive thing, because I guess I'm going to do the building K1. It's I call it the old American National Bank building. It's the glass box on the corner of McCamley and Michigan Avenue. They're talking about making that
K2. It was K2.
K2. I'm sorry, K2. They're talking about making that into apartments or living areas.
Huh.
Yeah, I hear that's one of the rumors, that they want to make that into a place where people could live. And so they're talking about enlarging the street behind it, because it's just a little pass through, but to make it so there's more parking back there for people to go there. And once again, getting more people living downtown, I think, will make downtown more accessible. People won't be as nervous about going downtown, because I know probably about 20 years ago, see, when you get old, you can do these. But way back 20 years ago, I went over to Kalamazoo on a Saturday night. They have their band show. There's probably 100 people out on blankets in front of it listening to the band. You go through their downtown. There's people window shopping and stuff. I go over to Marshall. There's people window shopping, walking. I'm going to restaurants and stuff. And I came back to Battle Creek, and there were people peeing in doorways. Yeah. And I'm going, I don't understand why we can't. We don't have to be Kalamazoo. We don't have to be Marshall. That's not what I'm saying. But we need to do. Why can't we have more of that going in our downtown area? And it's easier than just saying, why can't we do that? I realize there's a lot involved. It's not just really easy. But I'd like to see our downtown become more of a place people want to go, even just to walk around, like go have something to eat and go for a walk. Yeah. I think it'd be nice. It's like it's a beautiful place.
Like we've been talking about, a lot of good things are happening, a lot of developments going on. But the biggest thing, I think, is to get over that sort of like perception that people have from really more like 30 years ago, I think.
Oh my God.
You know,
Mac, when I was in high school, there was a lot of negative. There was still let's go to Kalamazoo as opposed to Battle Creek because Kalamazoo has so much stuff. But that's I guess it's the grass is always greener someplace else. You always can say it's better, but
sure.
yeah, I'd like to.
Well, and Robin Ort wants to make sure Bowen wants to make sure we record you falling into the river so that she can enjoy that, or he. I don't know.
So looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll be spectacular when I go to the river. It's like, yeah. As I was telling Mac when we were originally talking about this with the city about lighting these things in the river, I wanted to make sure we were following all. We've talked to and I do this one. It's not the DNR anymore. It's the Eagle, is environmental. Anyhow, the whatever the state environmental group is now. We went to them to make sure we weren't doing something that was going to be bad for the river. We want to make sure we're dotting all of our I's and crossing our T's. Stuff in the fire department is okayed and stuff, but people are going, well, what could go wrong? And I'm going, well, I'm thinking that you're lighting a fire in the river. And I said, there's trees and stuff hanging over the river in some places. And I said, bursting a tree into flames would not be what I want to do. But as I told Mac, there's no such thing as bad publicity. If we torched a tree, probably the next week there'd be more people coming back just to see if we were going to torch another tree.
Well, just don't set your hair on fire.
I think that's too late. That's too late on that one.
Well, Kurt, I am so grateful that you are the champion for Battle Creek that you are. So grateful for all your help to me. You do you help me a lot with the programming that we do on history, and so thank you for that. I didn't mention before, you've authored 4 books. You're on the Regional History Museum board.
Yep.
And probably a bunch of other stuff.
Plugs. There we go. Books. There's my books.
And you can get them for free at the library, or you can buy them and help Kurt in his retirement. So
there we go. But I also want to say, and Mac, I was trying to do this whenever we have these programs. You do so much to make this work. If it wasn't for you, yeah. But if you didn't do this, we wouldn't be doing this. I don't think, and it's not that there wouldn't be anybody else that might put this on, but I think you do a really good job.
Thank you.
You make people feel comfortable. You don't make us feel pressure to put our pants on, and anytime during these programs. But in the library has been really supportive of local things we do. They're one of the places in Battle Creek that support Battle Creek and do positive things for the city. I really appreciate all that they do because it's not a easy job, and it takes efforts for people to actually think of stuff and to come forward and do these things. And the library is one of the things that does that. They've done a great job. And you do these programs, and you make it so easy. You make it look like there's nothing to it, but I know you work your butt off doing these things. I just stand here and smile and go, "Oh, that isn't right," and "No, that's wrong." And
you send me like 75 photos in an email. I can just picture you chuckling, Mac.
You better believe it. I don't send all 35 in one message. I send you like 4 of them with 35 pictures in it, so you have a bunch of pictures to look from. But and that's one of those things about the Battle Creek history stuff, because I've been scanning pictures for quite a few years now, and I've got about 80,000 pictures of Battle Creek scanned into my files, and it's cool to have them. I mean, oh boy, I want to have all these pictures, but I want to share them with people because having them is really nice.
Yeah.
But I've tried to make sure the library. Well, I don't think the library has a copy of my files. I'll have to get you a copy of them so you can upload them. Yeah. But both the Historical Society and the Regional History Museum have copies. I've given them to friends. Because God forbid if something happened to me, which I know it's not going to right away unless I fall in the river, have a brazier fall on me, which once again might be good PR for the river fire thing. But I want this stuff to be saved. Collecting it all is great, but I want to make sure people can use this for years to come.
Yeah.
And what's also getting frightening, Mac, is there aren't a lot of young people that are coming up to be interested in Battle Creek history. It's worrying me because as things have been happening over the last few years, by the process of elimination, I'm becoming the historian because everyone else is dying off. And I'm not really keen on that. No. It's nice to be the history person they call, but once again, I'd like there to be lots of people interested in Battle Creek history and lots of people wanting to find out these things and promote this stuff. So that'll be a project we have to do in the future.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's fascinating. I appreciate the kind words, but there are a lot of folks like you. There's a lot of folks who are working to get that story out. And hey, I at least get paid. I'm working for the library, and I get paid for it. But a lot of people spend a lot of volunteer time doing this very
So
stuff. And I'm very grateful.
I'm not supposed to mention the check that Willard Library
No,
sent me.
no.
Whoops. Okay, sorry. Sorry about that. Whoops. They let me read all the books I want. That's the trick. I thought that was the deal. They'll let me come down and get any books I
You can
want.
read as many books as you want.
That's
Check out as many audio books as you want. So,
I will.
all right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kurt. I really
Thank you,
appreciate you
Mac.
coming on, and we'll be talking to you soon.
We
Don't
will.
leave. I'm going to end the broadcast, folks. I can't tell you who our next Stories at Sundown candidate is, but I can tell you that a bunch of us are working really hard for our next Peeks into the Past. Kurt is joining that team as well to plan. We're on November 22nd. We'll do a program on Sojourner Truth. And we're spending some extra time on it because we want to get it right. This is an important program for us. So look forward to that, November 22nd. And for now, just enjoy this beautiful Indian summer weather.
Yep.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.